Did you know that for this movie, Jason Lee, who voiced Syndrome, recorded his lines in 4 days, while Craig T. Nelson, who voiced Mr. Incredible, recorded his lines over the span of 2 years. The Incredibles is a really well done movie. I really enjoy this movie a lot. I love watching it. From time to time, I'm a big superheroes fan, so that's one reason, but also I think this movie is just so well crafted and a very solid movie. It's up there as one of my favorite Pixar movies. And I have 3 things that I liked about this movie, and my last thing is definitely my favorite. First thing I liked about this movie, and the thing that really just brings this whole movie together, is the combination of balancing a career and your family. And it's just a very grounded story with a lot of relatability on some levels. If you've seen a lot of superhero movies, for the most part, you see that when a superhero saves a city or saves someone, they're always met with praise. You never really see the side of a superhero when something goes wrong, when someone doesn't really want to be saved, when they cause more bad things than good. Even though they are a good person, they are a hero, there's still unfortunately going to be side effects of them trying to save everything. Superheroes need to be held accountable, and that's something you don't really see in any superhero movie, and that's why this movie is just so different. You actually see what happens when superheroes are held accountable, even for a good thing. I mean, you've heard the term "no good deed goes unpunished." Well, this movie is a really great example of what happens, where even though someone was saved, Mr. Incredible saved somebody, saved a whole bunch of people, some people still weren't happy with that, and they didn't want superheroes anymore. The public has a lot of sway in this sort of things. The Parr family had to adjust to just living as normal people, which they never had to do before. I mean, yeah, they had to be secret about certain things, but they didn't have to do what most people do, get a 9 to 5. And the big relatability here that I find kind of ironic but kind of funny at the same time is all the jobs that Bob could have gotten, he ends up working at some insurance company. But you see, the narrator says, "Oh, saving one person at a time," or whatever, and it opens with someone being denied insurance, like being denied coverage. I find that very ironic, but kind of, very a little on the nose, a little funny, just because he goes from a superhero, from really saving people and doing good, and then he goes to a job where they say they're saving people, but they're really not. They're screwing people over, and Bob knows it's wrong. Bob is trying to fight against it because he wants to be that good man. He wants to be that hero in every aspect of his life, not just at his job, but with his family as well. It's that balance. This may be a kid's movie, but there are a lot of adult issues that are brought up. Kids don't really see what their parents go through. From time to time, they don't know the struggles that their parents go through. They kind of just they're living innocent, they're innocent living for a while. But this movie really opens your eyes, especially kids' eyes, to what it takes to hold a family together, what it takes to provide and support for your family, even if it means working at a crap job in a super busy city. Sometimes you gotta deal with terrible people, sometimes you gotta deal with inconveniences, but you keep going because you're supporting your family, the money you're bringing in, supporting your family, and also the adult issues of marriage, like how to balance your marriage. The marriage is a big key to this movie, I would say. Bob's trying to be the best husband he can be. Helen's trying to be the supportive wife. He's off making the money, she's at home taking care of the kids, picking up the kids, doing the dishes, making the food. They're trying to hold it together. They're trying to do their very best with what circumstances they've been dealt with. They've been dealt a pretty crap deal, and they're both not happy about it. Bob and Helen clash here and there about. Helen knows what Bob does. He does moonlighting hero work, and she's like, "Don't do that because it's illegal and you're gonna jeopardize our family," whatever. And it's just, I like the battle of identity there. Mr. Incredible feels like he won't be worth anything. He won't be anybody if he doesn't do a certain thing. But it seems like Helen's kind of accepted her fate. Seeing your parents work out their problems, work out their differences, and fighting amongst each other. Nobody likes seeing their parents fight, but I think it's a very good thing to see. A very good thing to teach your kids to, parents fight, but they always they compromise. They will work through it together, and the hope is that they're a stronger couple and better parents at the end. Second thing I liked about this movie is the characters. I do want to talk about Syndrome mainly. I think Syndrome goes under the radar when it comes to Disney villains, and I know most people know what the definition of a syndrome is, but I do want to say what the definition is, just because I think when you know the definition of what a syndrome is, you can dive deeper into why he thinks the way he does and why he named himself Syndrome. So, the definition of syndrome is a collection of symptoms or conditions that occur together and may indicate a specific disease or an increased risk of developing it. Syndromes are not diseases themselves, and they may not always have a definite cause. And then the term comes from the Greek word syn and dramon, meaning running together or a concurrence. A little education for you, what syndrome really means. And, if you really look at Buddy going all the way back from when he was just idolizing Mr. Incredible, wanted to be just like him. He really had good intentions. I really do. Like he may be a little crazy fanboy, but I do think his intentions were pure, and Mr. Incredible was really just trying to look out for him. I mean, Mr. Incredible was painted as a bad guy in Syndrome's eyes because, the whole never meet your heroes type deal. So, like, Buddy really was unhinged, but, like, it wasn't just one little thing. It was a whole collection of things that he eventually just bottled up inside himself, and became resentful and hateful towards all superheroes because of the action of one scene in the movie that really goes to just really to the heart of Syndrome's character and his name. Bon Voyage was captured by Mission Incredible, but when Buddy remembers, when he talks about it and he reminisces on it, there was no Bon Voyage in Buddy's memory. It's a really neat detail that I think a lot of people may miss. When he talks about it, it's like the only people there are Mr. Incredible and Buddy, and that's it. But there was one other person there, but Buddy is just like so self-centered and so kind of driven by his ego and how he held up Mr. Incredible as an idol. It didn't matter who else was there. It was just between him and Mr. Incredible. So like the collection of things, a disease that eventually just wears away at your mind, it makes you misremember things. And he's just a solid villain. Like he's a really, really good villain, and he just definitely goes under the radar. And then my favorite scene of this movie, I would say, is the whole island scene. Really great, classic superhero action. Violet and Dash finally get to see their parents kind of in action because they've never seen their parents fight before. And Violet's learning how to do her force field, and Dash is just running on water, running crazy. Like, makes for a really, really good time. I think it's one of the best action scenes in the movie. Different superpowers. And then, when you put them all together, then you're forced to be reckoned with. So if you haven't seen The Incredibles in a while, I highly recommend it. It's on Disney Plus right now. Just check it out again with your family and your friends. It's just such a great movie. So for The Incredibles, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 Mudflaps. And remember to leave me a thumbs up and drop in the comments below. Who's your favorite character from The Incredibles? See you soon.